Longtime Redditor, first time in this post under alias. Last week, I, 40 male, caught my wife, 42, having an emotional affair. Yep, too much evasive screen time, looked at texts, and you guessed it. I know from the texts it was emotional with talk of getting physical. I am certain based on text nothing physical actually happened. I know this douche. I immediately spoke with his wife. He had a prior physical affair and she gave him a second chance. Go figure. His wife moved out and appears to have let the world know. I confronted my wife and everything was out. She's a mess and has not left the house. Can't tell if she's upset that she was caught or knows she made a mistake. I honestly could care less about her right now. We have kids, so divorce is a tough decision. I read these posts and right now I do not feel hurt or betrayed like others. I feel pure hatred like I've never felt before. I'm disgusted by her. The sight of her repulses me. The thought of even being intimate with her makes my skin crawl. I told her as much. She's distraught because I will not speak with her and tell her what I want to do. She asked me if I intended to divorce. My response was, likely. Is this normal not to give a rat's ass? First update. Posted here yesterday. I want a divorce. This morning and again this evening, I told my wife I want to file for divorce. We have kids, so I want to make this as painless as possible. She's an emotional train wreck. The things she's saying and how she's acting is terrifying. How do I get her to accept this without all this drama? Would counseling help? Not to reconcile, but to get her squared away? I do not want to delay the inevitable, nor do I want to project false hope. I think either would be detrimental in the long run. Second update. I sincerely appreciate the advice on my last two posts. Very helpful, especially from those who shared similar experiences. As hard as this is, I wanted to share a few of the quotes from the text that were exchanged. This is why I am so set on divorce, and this is why I do not think I can reconcile. Him. You are killing me. I want to be with you so bad. Her. Patience. Him. We've had plenty of opportunities. I miss seeing you. I want to be with you. Will you be at dance? Her. Not tonight. I miss seeing you. You know it kills me too. Him. Somehow we can find an hour. I told you I would take off work. Her. You, the workaholic? LOL, you are horny. I want our first time to be special. Him. Sad face. Her. I promise soon. And there will be plenty of quickies. So, those of you that want me to wait and don't rush, please tell me why not now. I can't unsee this shit. Oh, and there's plenty more. Third update. I had a relatively long conversation with my STBXW, DD 10 days ago. For the first time, she has been in an emotional state where we could have a civil discussion. I have not wavered on my stance that I want a divorce. She asked to do marriage counseling. I refused and told her she needs counseling, not me. In the past 15 years, there was plenty of opportunity to suggest that, not now. I brought up immediately separating. The conversation quickly nosedived, so it ended there. This is not logistically straightforward, as you all know, and given her state, I'm concerned again. My question. Has anyone had experience with divorce counseling, not marriage counseling? I think there is such a thing. Lots of comments on it being my choice to divorce. I get it. Still need to manage the whole situation with the kids though. If I did not have kids, I would not be writing this. I'd been gone by now. Fourth update. Was considering not posting anymore, but I thought I would share the great day I had. I decided to contact AP's wife. We ended up meeting this afternoon over coffee to talk about everything that's going on. You know my story. She was considering reconciling. Such an absolutely wonderful woman. She, like me, is concerned for her family. We are both terribly embarrassed and ashamed. I showed her the text screenshots. We belittled and joked about our partners and the bullshit they spewed after being caught. He's a real winner from the sounds of it. She really challenged me on my decision to move on and asked me a lot of tough questions. While I did not encourage her, I think she's now seriously contemplating leaving him. She said as much. We will now meet regularly. Very therapeutic for the both of us. Oh, and get this. I decided to take the afternoon off after spending 3 hours with her. Got home early. STBXW asked what I was doing at home so early. Spent the afternoon getting coffee and conversing with AP's wife. The look on her face. Fifth update. I had today all lined out. I'm trying to keep myself busy to keep my mind off things. I think I'm starting to go crazy. Here's what happened today. I guess this is what you call a trigger. I woke up and, as planned, I wanted to start cleaning out the garage. Like 99% of that stuff is mine, so in the event I move out, it's less I have to deal with. I went to throw away an old tackle box, and as I tossed it in the trash bin, it opened and a couple things I wanted to keep fell to the bottom. As I removed all the full trash bags, I noticed a dress, shoes, a necklace, bra, etc. All seemingly in great condition. All my wife's. One outfit. I proceeded to pull it out, then started thinking if this had something to do with her affair. The texts led me to believe it was not physical. This ate at me all day. All day. Against my better judgment, I discreetly set everything on our dresser. Later, it was gone. Once again in the trash. Noticed when my STBXW was feeding the kids, her eyes were swollen and red like she'd been crying. I am fighting with every fiber of my being to not ask her about this. Last update. Made it through the holidays. Yep, made it. Can't say things are better or worse for that matter. STBXW is still hard at work trying to make things better. Unfortunately, I am in the same place. I did attend a session with her counselor. I held my ground and asked her, the counselor, to help us through the divorce process. Made it clear I'm not interested in reconciling. Made clear that as far as I'm concerned, this was as close as sexually physical as it can get, so we should just call it that. Meaning my discovery was the only thing preventing a sexual rendezvous. At least my STBXW didn't refute that. By the way, she also stated, I didn't ask, that they had kissed once. I shut that down. I do not want to hear this BS. STBXW still isn't there yet with the idea of divorce. I spent some of my time looking at condos. Inadvertently left some real estate brochures lying around. Wasn't good. I keep telling myself I can't tiptoe around this. I can't try and avoid getting her spun up. Need to move this forward. She left after Christmas with the kids to stay with her parents. She is over-texting her every move. Shoot, before she left, she packed the fridge with pre-made meals. WTF, I can cook. She has not given one iota of acceptance of us being over. Complete denial that I am moving forward. Story 2. This is going to be a long story, but I figure I should finally get it out after like 6 years. It's not like the stuff I write on the internet is forever or tracked by massive corporations or anything, right? End sarcasm. We've been together since we were in 9th grade. On again, off again relationship with sections of that being a very gray blur between friends with benefits and being in something more committed. We married a month after we graduated high school because I was leaving for basic training that summer, and being married meant spending the year I would have spent in training after basic together instead of apart, and we felt it would happen either way, so why not be together? One of my last phone calls before I graduated basic, she told me she cheated on me. I don't really remember the conversation anymore, but it was with a guy she went to visit on her way to see me graduate. There were also some other guys while I was at basic. I think one was rape, or that's how she felt about it, but the other wasn't, and she was upfront about all of this and begged me for forgiveness. We were only really able to talk about it after I graduated a few weeks later. We reconciled, and divorce was never even a consideration for me. Marriage is forever, right? I told her that I wanted her to end all contact with him and that I felt I could move on from it. This was 6 years ago, but I remember this being the first time I considered asking for help, as I had fallen into a dark place dealing with all of this alone. At this point, I was halfway across the country, and even my wife hadn't been able to move to where I would be doing my training. We moved in together while I did my training, and she had issues cutting contact. It was a friendship she had had for several years, and she isn't the type of person that can cut people out of her life no matter the circumstances. I ended up agreeing to some contact, and that led to a sort of open marriage. I struggled the entire year with various levels of acceptance to this unforeseen type of marriage, ranging from suicide levels, depression to acceptance, and the relationship roller coaster to match. The openness did not include anything physical, and she seemed okay with that. At the end of that year, the other guy came to visit us, and I ended up playing this as well. He ended up staying in our spare room. One of the nights we had a fight, and I went to bed without her, or maybe she left the bed. I can't remember. I just remember she wasn't there when I woke up either the next day or that night. We moved back to the other side of the country at the end of that roller coaster of a year. He and her soon had a falling out. They lost contact, or at the very least stopped any sort of relationship. I would end up finding out that she did sleep with him that night, and maybe others. Those weeks are blurry now, as well as sleeping with another guy while we were there. The next couple years would bring us 2 children and a much more traditional marriage. She ended up wanting to get a part-time job to get away from the kids, 2 and 1 at the time, I think. She wanted a night job and liked dancing, and ended up wanting to try out being a stripper, feeling like maybe it would give her that sexual out that she felt had caused the previous wanderings. A few months later, on a drive back from a trip, she brought up an open marriage again and brought up divorce, as she couldn't see herself being happy as things were. I ended up saying okay again. She just wanted to date around at first, and it quickly escalated with every boundary I put in place being pushed against. I remember what might have been a dream or nightmare of finding evidence on her phone. Yes, I would check her phone and go through messages. I still hate that I would do that. Of her passing these boundaries, and then me spending hours that morning convincing myself that I didn't care or that I could handle it. We went to counseling, individual sessions with the same counselor. Oh yeah, I had started self-harming and a whole bunch of stuff this time. I got put on antidepressant and was fairly suicidal. Thank God for my 2 girls, as they were the only reason I stopped cutting some of those nights. Things ended with him eventually, and it's been a year or so since then. Things have been good since then, and we've had issues, but they aren't related to infidelity. She has mental health issues, and she has been working though, and we have had some tragic events happen. She has continued to work as a stripper, and I'm honestly okay with that. Slightly worried about the longevity of the career field. Yes, I've told her this, but otherwise okay with it. Tonight I had anxiety or a panic from finding a sexual picture of her I can only assume was from the most recent external relationship, and I felt like sharing instead of art. My most healthy venting strategy, or something less healthy. Thank you for reading.